Yeah, but I think encouraging people to do that, right? Because a lot of times we get into these situations and we try to figure out later. We try to figure it out later, right? And I just think, like, as Christians, like, we have the wisdom to do it on the front end, right? Whatever it is, whether it's a home, a car, whatever it is, you don't have to go the same route that everyone else does, right? I think we live in a society that's like, I got pre-approved for the higher the number, the more glamorous you look. But it's like, hey, how are you surviving after you max that loan out?
I'm about to say, not only that, but then you try to go get a house for that loan. And like you just said, the bank don't care what your monthly is. And you can't afford what they approved you for, but they don't care.
Well, and let's talk about that, right? So I looked at a ton of articles, and they pretty much all summarized all the elements as this. Basically, when you go and you try to apply for a home loan, what is it exactly that they're looking for, the banks, right? So they say a stable income, strong credit score, modest debt to income ratio, and documentation of your employment and assets, right? But here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. So I went in and I used 2 mortgage calculators based on our current income, right? They ask you for your minimum credit card payments, which that's interesting.
$25.
$50.
25, 35. That's the normal minimum for a credit card.
Right.
25, 35.
But again, now step away from that scenario, right? I'm not interested, as the bank, I'm not interested in you ever paying that credit card off. I don't care if it takes you 5 years to pay $1,000 and you give $3,000 in interest.
Do they ask for the balance, or they just want to know?
They just, both of the ones that I did, and I'll tell you which ones I did. I did Forbes Advisor and I did Bankrate, and I'm going to add both of the links in the description so people can go and check them out themselves. They ask for the minimum balance on your credit cards. Like, what is your minimum payment?
Okay, so minimum payment.
Minimum payment.
So again, you can have a $10,000 balance,
yes, but
they just want to know you're paying $25 towards that $10,000 every month.
Yes. And that's how they calculate your debt to income ratio. You're not in this to help me. You want me to be enslaved forever. Yes. So with that being said, I used 2 mortgage calculators, and I was shocked at this. I know I did share this with you, and then we stopped talking about it because we don't like to talk about these things ahead of time. Both of the calculators said that they would recommend, and they consider this conservative, they recommend a mortgage of $4,200 for us. Our mortgage is not even half of that, so we'll just half. A third. I don't know math like that, but there's no way. $4,200. It's almost like they're just saying, like, can you survive even if it's paycheck to paycheck? Yep. All right, here you go. Guys, it's, again, there are some banks are more for the people than others. But just, I think this is wisdom that you're hearing it now, right? So again, as we learn, we take it and we do better, right? It doesn't matter what happened before, but like moving forward, do your own research before you go. Set your own boundaries and limitations. Do not let these institutions tell you what you should max out on, or the kind of house that you should live in based on anything. You have the ability to figure it out on your own and decide before you even get there. Because part of it, I think, sometimes is pressure, right? They do this day in and day out. Oh, this is how we always do it. But it takes us to say, hey, no, like, I get what you're saying, but I don't want to be enslaved to debt. I don't want to be enslaved to whoever, Capital One and whatever other cards are out there. Like, I want to do this the right way, right? Which also speaks to what you were saying about the 30-year loan. Yeah, take the 30-year loan, but man, like, hustle, right? Pay it off in 5. If, again, that's not what people do. That's not what's normal. I think, well, I haven't asked all my friends, like, hey, do you own your home yet? But I don't know that people, it's just a standard, right? Like, you have a mortgage. If you have a house, you have a mortgage, but that doesn't have to be the standard. And I'm sure as our following grows that we will kind of share our journey, right? And so our goal is to pay our house off in 7 years. And we're on track.
2 years left.
Yes, 2 years left. So we're on track
left.
to do that, even with our 2 baby girls, by God's grace. But it can be done differently, and it is so worth the hustle. Like the discipline that God allows you to build in Him, and man, just the journey. Like it's worth it. It's worth it, right? Than to be sitting in a home that you couldn't truly afford in the first place, and now you're trying to figure out every month how you're going to pay that mortgage. Like it should not be that way. Do not allow these institutions to put you in those situations, but you have to use wisdom before going in there. Don't fall for the bait. Don't.